They heard him when he gave the order that I should be abducted and detained. Oh, but that's illegal. You can't say you tapped the phone of the National Security Advisor of Nigeria. No, I didn't. Someone did. I'm like, really? He said, but the government do it all the time. They tap our calls, they check our this, and that. So why not do it to them? Okay, that's interesting. Now here, Elrufai.
What happened?
Yeah, but I want to add something.
Yes.
Because my lawyers issued a statement after that, mentioning EFCC. I want to say very clearly, it wasn't the EFCC, okay? It was the DSS.
Right.
But the DSS were procured to abduct me by the ICPC. That has never communicated with me ever, okay? The EFCC had written to me while I was away to say that I would like to have a chat with you over certain issues. And I replied, my lawyers replied that, well, I'm not in the country, I'm on my annual vacation. And once I know the date of return, I will let you know. And we have written to EFCC to say that, I will celebrate my birthday with you. My birthday is 16th February on Monday. I will celebrate my birthday. I will come and see you at 10 a.m. on the 6th. So it wasn't the EFCC. But my lawyer thought it was the EFCC, but it was not. Subsequently, we found out that it was the ICPC that procured the DSS to abduct me and then hand over to them. And this is a modus operandi of the ICPC that increasingly has become a personal tool of Nuhu Ribadu. Nuhu made the call and made the order that I must be in custody yesterday.
How do you know he made the call?
He made the call because we listened to their calls. The government thinks that they're the only ones that listen to calls, but we also have our ways. He made the call, he gave the order. And
so you tapped his phone calls, did you?
Someone tapped his phone and told me.
Because that technically is illegal.
I know, but the government does it all the time. They listen to our calls all the time without a court order. But someone tapped his phone and told us that he gave the order. So, but the EFCC, I think, has shown itself to be more professional in this particular instance. And on Monday, by the grace of God, I'll go and see them. Yesterday, around 5 p.m., the ICPC finally did the right thing, not the DSS that tried to abduct me, by bringing a letter to my house to say, we want to see you on Friday the 13th. My lawyer wrote back to say, guys, my client is not an idle person that has no program. He's just waiting for a letter from anyone. We've received your letter. We will, now that you've written an invitation, you've had the courage to write an invitation, we will honor the invitation. But on Monday, we are going to EFCC that has written before. So we'll go there. After the EFCC, we'll go to ICPC on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know what the lawyer has written, but this. So this is the current state of things as far as we know.
Okay. Well, let me just make clear that what happened.
Yeah. But I want to add something.
I mean, could you actually feel the confidence and then the tone of his words, kind of the tone, yeah? I told them if they want to, I mean, I'm not a idle person, so you write me and then I will tell you when I'm going to have the time to come and see you, like that. But this guy, they talk about DSSO. The same DSSO that will track you anywhere. They know they write anybody, say, okay, you, Mr. So and so, you want you to come to our office, and then you will write them. Your lawyer will write them and say, well, I'm very busy right now. I'll see you on Monday, or I'll see you on Friday. Nobody has such privilege, but this guy does. He has it. And they are probably like, they are probably like many like that who have the same privilege. They listen to their calls too. And somebody just said it there, like, if you remember when the Isa pandemic, Isa Patantami was your Minister of Communication. I'll remind you, don't worry. When Isa pandemic was the Minister of Communication, Nigeria invested hundreds of millions of dollars on intelligence gathering, communication control, all those things. I'm giving them my own name. Here you get what. I'll break them down for you. They spent 33 or so million dollars to buy an hacking device, the hacking technology, which allowed them to hack into your WhatsApp. You know, say WhatsApp is like an end-to-end encryption, Abby. They're not supposed to really see it. They told us then that because they wanted to make sure that the terrorist communications is, properly like grabbed before they act. Yeah, they did. They went on to also invest again over $200 million on a spyware that they described as something that allowed them to tap into your phones, your emails, your text messages, faxes, and the rest of that. If you are a person of interest, or maybe just for fun, just listen to everybody, which gives them so much access to everything you are doing. And primarily, right, they lied to us then that they purposely did that because they wanted to monitor the growing or the increasing insecurity in Nigeria at the time. It was purely never to monitor the terrorists. Because, we are all alive today. That despite all this investment in this spyware, right, they ended up not catching any of these terrorists who later became live streamers on TikTok with ransom money and even their victims and the rest of that. What else are they probably using it for? That is not for the purpose. Now, who was that person that listened to the calls of the government officials? And somehow, they could actually use it against them. I don't know if the National Security Advisor to call is having his own phone tapped. That's an indictment, too. It's not a flex. In my own opinion, or Nigeria is a place where anything goes. So don't be surprised. Did you do that? Elrufai. Then he added this.
Absolutely. Charles, in civilized countries, you don't start investigation by abducting a person or even arresting a person and keeping him while you're investigating. It's violation of human rights. You do your investigation, okay? Financial records today are largely electronic. They can't be hidden. You do your investigation, you get your records.
How do you know they haven't done their investigation, which is why they're coming for you now?
They have done their investigation and have found nothing. Okay?
Yeah, but you don't know that. You haven't answered to them.
I will go to them.
Right.
Charles, I've been around this system. I know what's going on, even in those institutions. I have an idea what's going on.
So are you suggesting that political motives are at play?
Absolutely. Look, some of the professionals in this institution feel very bad that they are being compelled. And when some of my guys that have been invited or abducted face them, when they finish all the questions, they tell them, look, we're sorry, but this is all political. Why don't you guys go and settle with them? Settle with them means what? Submit to be a member of APC, agree that Tinubu will have a second term. That's what it is.
Well, let me ask you a couple of rapid fire questions.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll have brief answers so we can move on.
Yes.
During your tenure as governor.
Absolutely. Charles.
We are coming there. So Elrufai is no longer that powerful, dreadful Elrufai that was so mean to critics that even if you are not living in Kaduna, the state he was governor of, right? You're living somewhere else, he could track you down and get you abducted. Yes, abducted. It happens to a guy called Stephen Kepas. All right, he's a very, very factual, open critic of El-Rufai's regime at the time. I mean, they were the early pioneers of reporting events of the killings by the Fulani terrorists in southern Kaduna, the genocide that took place in that place. Those young guys were the early ones. Those were from the place, right? You know something? El-Rufai had to use this same DSS. From Kaduna, they tracked him down to Port Harcourt, River State, where he lives. And then they took him. His family members, friends, colleagues at work. Nobody could tell where he was for straight 8 months. When they finally found him in the DSS dungeon somewhere, right? They charged him for cyberbullying Elrufai, this same guy. And yeah, he was there for like another 1 year before they finally got his bail. And you know something? After like 2 years back and forth, they dropped the charges. The same Elrufai is accused of disappearing a young man called Abubakar Dadiyata. That was a famous missing person for years now. You know, the young man is also known to be very much like open critic of Gandola and this Elrufai, but he was living in Kaduna. The day he was to disappear, he arrived his home. As he was about to get into his compound, some suits and then, dark shade wearing criminals, they approached him, identified themselves as a DSS. And that was the end. That was the last time his family members saw him. So that question popped up with Charles this evening. And here is what Elrufai has had to say.
To be the 27th of February.
That's what we do. We arraign people before a court of law.
Right. Well, what about the still unresolved case involving one of your very fierce critics, a man known as Abubakar Idris Dadiyata, a lecturer and a social media commentator? He was, to use your word, abducted from his Kaduna home in 2019 by unknown gunmen and has remained missing to this day, nearly 7 years later. Amnesty International considers the case to be one of enforced disappearance, and many fingers point towards your government, which was in power in Kaduna State at the time. Are they right for their fingers to be pointed in the direction of your government? Because his protection is the duty of your government.
Charles, they are totally wrong. And what you have been given is not the correct thing. Dadiyata's timeline is still around. Go and study it. Dadiyata was not a fierce critic of Kaduna State government. He was a fierce critic of Kano State government. He's from Kano. He's a Konkosia guy. He lives in Kaduna and lectures at a university in Katsina State. He lives in Kaduna. But he's a fierce critic, not of Kaduna State. Go and review his timeline. Okay? It was Ganduje that was his problem.
But he was living in your state.
He was living in my state. But
so technically he is your...
No, of course.
He falls under your province.
Yes, but I didn't even know him. We only got the report of Dadiyata's existence.
Right.
Okay? And the fact that he lived in Kaduna State after his family reported to the police that he was abducted as he was returning home in the evening. And when we investigated, all that we could gather from his family was that the abductors came, took him, and they came from Kano. So if anybody is to be asked questions about the disappearance of Dadiyata, it's the Kano State government. It has nothing to do with Kaduna State government. We didn't even know he existed. And Charles, trust me, he was not a fierce critic. I didn't even know he existed until he was abducted. But till today, some people on social media ask me the question. I don't care. 3 years after Dadiyata was abducted, a policeman that was posted out of Kano to Ekiti State confessed to someone that they were sent from Kano and they took the guy, they abducted Dadiyata, and he felt bad about it. That's the only thing I know. But it was not a Kaduna State problem. He lived in Kaduna State and it was our duty to protect him. But how could we protect him when we didn't even know he existed or was a particular critic of Ganduje?
Right. Okay. Well, let's move on from there.
So we should start asking Ganduje what happened to Dadiyata, and the young man remained missing. One of the saddest tale of being outspoken against the bad governance in Nigeria. It could cost you your freedom. It could cost you your fortune. It could, in fact, cost you your life. That's why a lot of people are always like, no. We just see no evil, say no evil. Maybe one day, God will deal with them. That's the danger. You know, disappearance. That happens a lot. And when people are saying, why should America add the names of Kwakwanso, that's a Kwakwanso, to the list of terror sponsors, Sharia promoters, and Islamic extremist sponsors in Nigeria, when the likes of Elrufai did not even make the list? We haven't seen all the list. But here is what Elrufai had to say about Kwakwanso's names in on the list of terror sponsors or the extremist sponsors, Islamic extremist sponsors in Nigeria. His response:
we need to ask some very difficult questions so that that is recalibrated, so that every Nigerian will feel safe. But coming to the matter of Kwankwaso, I think it is most unfair to tag Kwankwaso, and I'm trying to figure out whether it is the $9 million lobbying money that led to the list of Kwankwaso, because Kwankwaso has refused to move to APC. Because the evil that this government is capable of is beyond your imagination, Charles. They may be behind it because Kwankwaso has refused to move to the APC, and there are rumors that he will move to the ADC.
Well, you're saying there may be.
Yeah.
They may be behind it.
They may be behind it. In fact, I cannot think of anyone else, because look, 12 northern states implemented Sharia, okay? The first state to do so was Zamfara. I thought Zamfara should be listed there if at all anyone is to be blamed for this Sharia fiasco, all right? Kwankwaso followed suit like many other northern governors, and Kano was not very strict in even implementing Sharia. So he's not...
Liar. Kano is implementing Sharia very strictly. But the kind of Sharia that you have in northern Nigeria is called Politico Sharia. It is very selective, okay? They have their ISBA that goes to hotels to arrest customers. They arrest trucks loaded with alcoholic beverages, even though they still collect money from the VAT from the same alcoholic drinks. So, but just to show their hypocrisy. So they will burn drinks, destroy them, go to hotels, arrest people who are eating on the day of Ramadan. You know, people are fasting, Abi. But if you are found eating in Kano, you will be arrested by the same ISPA. So meanwhile, they are politicians. They are living their luxury life like nobody cares. They're fornicating as much as they want. They are drinking, drugging, and the rest of that. None of this ISPA would ever mistakenly arrest, I use mistakenly because that would be by mistake, to arrest any politician in that same northern Nigeria. So it is Politico Sharia, of course. So how did Kwakwanso's name ended up on that list? Could it be part of the $9 million lobbyist money that Tifnumbu's regime paid? Ribadu paid the money to through a Kaduna law firm to a company in America called the GCI Group. So could they be the ones that gave Kwakwanso's name? Because it's not like gelling. That's what people are saying. But he's right. We haven't seen all the full list yet. I don't know if it's probably like an extensive list. We don't know. But yeah, the guys from northern Nigeria, some of them were Fulanis, are also very much upset. Not only that Kwakwanso's name is added, okay, but the fact that this Kwakwanso's name is added immediately after Pastor Rat visited America. You see how conspiracy theory does work, right? So according to them, Remi's visit to America was not just a visit, and somehow it is to further ask America, okay, to attack the northern Nigeria. In a nutshell, somebody is saying that Tifnumbu's wife's move is Tifnumbu's move, and it is anti-northern Nigeria on top this matter of fighting terrorism. Here is one of them.
Recently, the wife of the president, the first lady of the country, was in America, and she was calling for more American strikes in the northern, she specifically stated northern part of the country. She didn't call for strikes in the southeastern part of the country that are suffering from the IPOB and sit at home and issues of separation, agitations of separation, killings that are going on.
You don't
there.
think that it's fair to say that the North is a top priority when it comes to insecurity?
The North is a top priority when it comes to insecurity, but it shouldn't be labeled as a crisis that is based on faith.
Is there a chance
Muslims
that you are
dying.
misinterpreting the efforts as something that is targeting Muslims or North to destroy the region?
Of course, of course. It is a deliberate act.
But where's
It is
where's the facts?
The facts are numerous. Wherever America in the past 20 years has conducted war, it's in Islamic countries, from Somalia to Yemen to Iraq to